Hey everybody. Looks like it's working on Restream. Going to check and see how everything's doing. Working on Twitch. I don't know about YouTube and Facebook yet. Oh, looks like it's working on YouTube. And Facebook. Let's take a look at that. I don't think it's working on Facebook. Does not surprise me. Oh, no, it seems there's a post, but there's no link to it. What I will do is I'll put a link to it. If I can do that. 1 second while I do that. Oh, and if you notice, the camera might look better from the last time you saw. I finally got a battery set up for my EOS M50s, so no more Logitech webcam. Well, I'll probably still use it for other stuff, but right now, yeah. So I'm just gonna grab my Twitch link here and throw it on the Facebook thing, so I don't know, some type of mitigation of some sort, I guess. I don't know. Alright, so I'm in Unity. I've got Retro Spaceball here. Now, I want to do something with this. Like, I guess I might as well just show you. Oh, you know, it's not turned on, so I gotta go into this scene and do it that way. So, oh shit, there's audio coming through. Oh, I could turn it off. There we go. So first I think I'm gonna turn on trance music. Oh, this is what's making. So first I think I'm gonna turn on trance music. Oh, this is what's making. So there we go. Oh, there's already a bot on stream. That's great. I guess I should like boot them or something. Not really sure how. That could be an issue. There we go. Easy. Just click on it. Okay. Bot, and I'm going to go to the scene that I called Hub World when I named it. It's actually the space station. I'm gonna check my levels real quick. Yeah, okay. That looks about right. Maybe a little bit louder on the audio, so I'm gonna turn that down just a little bit here, and that looks a little bit better. Okay, so this scene has a menu on it where the menu's kind of turned off, and I'm going to turn a part of it on, and that's the part we're going to be working on, I think, today, for the most part. I'll probably have to draw something, because it has no... This new game mode doesn't have any extra assets yet, so... So this... All of my scenes are a little confusing, but luckily they're written well as far as the names. So got the station menu. I cannot really remember. I think it's in the script that I turned it off because I had already coded it in there, and I was like, oh well, I need to make a build, so I turned it off. So I'm just gonna look for the space station menu script, and that's on the collider somewhere. There it is. It took me long enough to find it. Yeah. So here we have the enter map menu script, and I'm not even sure if this is the right one, to be honest, but there's all of the usual suspects up there. So let's see, what are we looking here for? We got, yeah, this is the right one, right? Enter map, yeah, okay. So at some point, I could just bring this back in. That's exactly what it is. I just commented a chunk out. Ooh. Save it, yeah. I save so often I forget that I saved. Alright. Yeah, so the first bug is that it flips thing to the next thing. The next bug is that there's no way out of here. Like the game is sufficiently soft lock here. But that happens a lot when you're a game dev. So the next step is to try to make a game out of this, right? Now there's a few different approaches that I was thinking. One of them would be to have things like orbit the space station and like help you, that you can upgrade and stuff like that, and attachments for the space station and stuff like that, guns and turrets and stuff. So to have things from outside the space station about yay far away, shooting things at the space station. So I'm thinking I'm going to make a game object that kind of flies around in a circle, much like I'm doing now, and just kind of generates things. I'll probably have a couple different generators and a couple different types of things. So like good things and bad things, right? And then some variations within that. So that's about as much thought as I've put into it. Now also I was kind of thinking asteroids maybe would be an easy starting point. Like mining asteroids would be like a default, so every level would have asteroids. But like some levels might have enemies, and some levels might have like special asteroids or something. I don't know, a comet or something. So the idea is to give the appearance that the space station is in a different location based on what level you're on. And I think that'll be fairly easy to do. Whether or not it's fun or not is going to be the challenge. So right off the bat, it's kind of like asteroids. So I think making an asteroids mechanic might be the bare minimum here. So I think I might just start with that. Now I've never done this successfully before. I did something similar when I was starting out, and I probably am just going to try to do that again. And I think I'll get it right this time, because I made a lot of mistakes that I don't back then that I don't now. Just little things like, you know, understanding the order of execution and stuff like that. You know, coroutines and when to use them, and all that stuff. But yeah, so the mechanics for the player are nearly done here. They're not super intuitive. For the keyboard, it works much better on the joysticks, right? Because the way it is now, the down button thrusts and the up button shoots. So in order to shoot and thrust at the same time, you kind of have to hold your fingers funny. It can be done, but it's not intuitive at all. Yeah. But yeah, definitely have had a bunch of ideas from testers. Some of them good, some of them not as good. One of them that I think I might actually implement finally is flippers to have like things that knock the ball left and right, but or from the left and right. I think it's just going to actually shoot the ball up to be more helpful to the player because let's face it, flipping it to the side doesn't really help you in the game, but it's a good location for the flippers and it works as like a special weapon. So some levels would have them and some levels wouldn't, I would think. Yeah. But I think I'm going to draw an asteroid real quick, and so quick I don't even think I'm going to need my tablet for it. Of course, I've drawn asteroids before, but I don't really know what I'm doing here. I think I'm just going to do something circular. So I'm going to go with 32 by 32 for size, and then I'm just going to just draw something real quick here. Yeah, I think I'm actually going to start with a circle. Just make it easy, right? Yeah, and then I'm going to duplicate that layer. I'm going to erase chunks of the first one, a little bit smaller of an eraser. And these are going to be the craters that are like kind of towards the edge, right? To give it some three-dimensionality. So if I turn it off, you can see it's like that. So here I'm going to make some more circles. And I'm just going to cut these ones later, so it doesn't matter if they go off. Yeah, so I'm going to shrink the eraser down a bit. Oh, too far. It kind of looks like a piece of cheese or something. Or a cookie? I don't know what it looks like. Looks like an asteroid. So now I'm going to do the inside, which, same thing, I'm going to make some circles here. Oh, you know what? I was going to throw on some more music here. Let's do that. Yeah, so I'm just drawing circles. And I'm holding shift while I do it, so that way they're all circular. Otherwise they would be ellipses. And that kind of made a different pattern, which works. Because it kind of like mirrors, or like, I don't know what the best word is. It continues the pattern, right, of circles. Because in pixel art, this here is a circle, technically, right? But it's also a square, so it's pixel art is all made out of squares. So, but everyone knows this. Yeah, so this is looking pretty decent so far. I do want some of it to be a little bit smoother than the other parts of it to add contrast and like juxtaposition. Of course, I want it to look somewhat natural, so there's gonna be like crags and stuff, even in the smooth areas. It's pretty good so far. These big ones seem kind of big all by themselves, so I'm gonna make the material a little bit smaller by putting other stuff around it. I don't know what I'm doing now. Experimenting, I suppose. Not sure if I like that. I don't like it. It looks better like this. I like that, yeah. Alright. I think I don't know. I think this will do. I think this, no. I think that will do. I might be overthinking things here just a bit. Maybe not. Looks pretty good to me. Alright. So we no longer need this layer. So I'm just going to delete that one, make a new one. And this top layer, I'm going to add some color. Actually, you know what? Instead, I'm going to delete that one too. I'm going to make a duplicate. And I'm actually going to make some grays here. So I want one to be kind of light. Oh, we're going to want it to be contiguous. A little bit darker than that, I think. I don't know. Hard to see with the background like this, so I'm going to change the preferences. Go to our background. I'm just going to add some magenta to both of these, so that way we can see how things look. Alright, yeah, no, I think that looks a little bit better. We want the dark side now. And I'm probably gonna do some shading here, so I'm just gonna do everything at first. Yeah, so I'll probably do like a light and dark of each of these. These will be like the mid-tones of the light and shade. Alright, so I'll start with the dark, just because I might switch off, I don't know. So I'm thinking the light source is going to be generally from, I don't know, dead on, because it's probably going to rotate. But there's like a big crag in it, so yeah. Mostly the shadows are going to be coming from the surface rather than the light source creating. You know, there's not going to be direct angle. There's not going to be angled lights on it. It's going to be directly coming from top. So probably going to shade the edges a bit. Alright, this one needs like a dark side, but it needs to be between this and this. Just a little bit darker. But between. Alright, so while I'm making this, I should be thinking about what I'm actually going to do with it, because I think what I want is it to break apart into pieces and create more asteroids. So I think if they all use the same art, that's going to look terrible. So I think I'm going to have to need multiple sprites here. So I should probably not spend too much time on one and kind of come up with a motif to make more, because I'll probably have them break apart and then have a couple different sizes of each. I mean, Asteroids game in pixel art actually is not a tiny bit of work, so I mean, unless you're really fast at making asteroids. Luckily this one went pretty quick. Of course we need them to explode, right? So that's gonna be the rough part. So might as well just start with one and see how that works. And you know, I'm thinking of games like Star Fox, where they only had two types of asteroids in the asteroid belt level. One was silver and one was gold, and that was it. They just changed the sprite color. Of course, they didn't break apart either. You just shot them, and they exploded. So there's a couple explosion frames, which they might have even reused from something else. I'm not sure. There was a lot of explosion reuse in that. So starting points, you know, I could probably get away with a lot, but I don't want to look like I cut corners either. I want to look more nostalgic than cutting corners. Sorry, I'm just noticing some chunk on the edges that I didn't like. Like here, it's okay because it's in the shadow. Doesn't bother me as much. Here, I'm gonna get rid of those two. Yeah, again, here it's in the shadow. That doesn't bother me. It's got a nice crag thing going. I think there needs to be more of this going on. Oh, you know, I never did a highlight, so I'm gonna do that now. I'm just gonna go up a bit and kind of add it to the edges here. Not really sure exactly what I'm doing here. I think I'm just going to kind of do the middle area. This is kind of bright. Yeah, that's way too bright. So I'm just going to tone that down a bit. Still too bright. That's better. Alright, so now I'm just gonna kind of dither it a bit so it doesn't look so harsh. Of course, that doesn't look good either. I'm gonna fix this shit. You know what? I feel like this should be... like after it's out of the shadow, it should exchange and become a little bit lighter. Right? Yeah, so what I did there was I just took the gray from here and used it for what was black over there, so it kind of adds this dynamic, or dynamicism to it. Yeah, no, I think I like that. That's pretty cool. I'm just gonna merge these layers since they're not all that different. I'm gonna make a new frame, which actually just duplicates that one. So now I'm gonna make it explode, because I'm just gonna have them rotate. I'm not gonna, animate the lighting or anything like that on them. So yeah, that's why I made them circular, so that way they look decent when you rotate it. This whole mini game is based on rotating sprites. So if you're a purist, I'm sorry. This is not very pure. This is not a pure way of doing things. But there's a lot of people that are okay with that, so I'm not too worried about it. And it's just a minigame after all. The rest of the game is actually pretty, not pure, but it's pretty pure as far as pixel art goes in Unity games. There's so many rules that are getting broken these days. It's expected to break a certain level of rules. In fact, the more I ask about polish and stuff like that, the more people talk about the different rules that they would like broke. For example, chromatic aberration, bloom, post-processing effects, all that stuff. The retro games are now expected to have those effects because they use it to make the TV look, distorted and make it look, they get scan lines, so a little bit of bloom in there adds to that like retro TV aesthetic, which I guess I gotta add all that stuff. It won't be too difficult, so I mean, it'll just be a day or two to learn some of that stuff. I'm gonna turn it off when I play, but yeah, whatever makes people happy, I think. It's probably for the better. Okay, so we've got our frame 2. We're gonna explode this bad boy. So what I'm gonna do, I like to use the Lasso Tool here, which lets you just kind of draw a weird shape, right? And you know what? I'm gonna do something first. I'm actually going to make this sprite size, or the canvas size, bigger. I know I started at 32, but I'm gonna bring it up to 64, and that way I have room to make the explosion without changing the sprite. I'll just have transparent space. I'm not too worried about it. If this was a Nintendo game or something like that, we could do that. I'm not too worried about it. In fact, there's like sprite packing software and stuff. I don't think I'm even gonna worry about that unless I end up going to mobile, because I feel like that's mostly what that stuff is for these days. My game runs pretty smooth, except for the minimum spec tester, Surfacner, or Surfacner. I don't know how the fuck to say it. Surfacner. Yeah. Anyway, dude is a low spec tester, and yeah, he knows what it's like with the low specs, but there's not a lot of people playing it with the potato like that. So, I mean, he's literally got a system that's like 10 years old or something like that. Yeah, so I'm gonna blow this bad boy up. So the first thing I'm gonna do is use the Lasso Tool. I'm just gonna make the same kind of stroke that I did before and just break apart part of it, and bam, just like that, pull it apart. Whoa. 1 too far there, okay. Yeah. Now I want to make an explosion, so I don't want it to be too slow or dramatic, but it is an asteroid in space, so... and I do think there should be explosions because it's a space shooter, you know? I like explosions. So I'm gonna make a new layer for the explosion. I'm gonna put it underneath so that I can make it look like it's coming from behind. But I'm also gonna erase chunks of this top layer, so that way it looks more realistic, and like some of it is engulfed by flame or whatever explosion. So yeah, I'm just kind of cleaning up some of the edges here, removing to make more space for the flame. So yeah, sometimes it's easier to turn off pixel perfect mode when you're erasing single pixels like this. It works great for drawing characters and stuff like that, but sometimes when you just want the pixel to go away, yeah. So I switch frequently, to be honest. Alright, so I'm just gonna turn it back on so it's there. That looks pretty good. I'm squinting to kind of like get an idea of what it looks like. Because we're only gonna be seeing it for a split second. So like, certain things are important, other things are not. I can really get rid of that also. Yeah. Alright, so I'm gonna draw some fire now. And what I like to do for fire is actually the same kind of thing and just reuse fire that I've already made before and make new fire based off the same fire. So I do that mostly to make sure I have the exact same palette, but also because it reminds me of how I made it before. And it makes everything kind of cohesive, and there's usually some fire laying around somewhere. Although I think this is the same palette, I'm not sure. All of a sudden it's hiding from me. There's some fire. Okay, so yeah, what I can do is I can just take these, or actually I can just take these, because that's got all of them. I don't need these. Just there, copy. That was an X, not a C. Paste. Alright, so now I've got the palette there. So yeah, if I look at the sheet, you can see when it starts, it has a lot of lines, then they go away, then they get these dark lines that kind of come in, then the whole thing gets dark, and then the dark lines come in even further, right? So it's 5-frame color change with a kind of flash frame there. And it looks pretty decent. I got the idea from watching like a GIF of just explosions, and I brought it in and just kind of stole how they were doing it. And I'm not even really sure what game it was from. I want to say it was from Star Fox. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. I want to say it was from Star Fox. Oops, but I'm not actually sure about that. So I'm gonna see what happens when I just throw this explosion and keep hitting the wrong button. Alright, what happens if I make it bigger? That looks bad. Alright. So yeah. What I did was I just kind of drew almost like a flower. You want pixel perfect on for this mode. And I mean, it helps to have a general shape, but it doesn't really need to be there as long as it's kind of circular. Oh, this is probably gonna get DMC. Forgot about that. DMC. I hate how SoundCloud just keeps playing other people's music, even though you put it on your own. So yeah. Where was the other music I had? There we go. I'll just throw this on. Does it get quiet? What happened there? It's not exactly what I want us to, but it's better than nothing. Alright. So yeah, I'm just kind of going at it here because some of this is going to be covered up, and then I can erase parts that don't look good. Alright, yeah, so some of this needs to be more liney. So I think it's important for the explosion to come up to the extent here. It's okay if the pieces come out a little bit, but in the first frame, the explosion has to look like the reason why the pieces are coming apart. Otherwise, it'll look like the explosion was an afterthought. Yeah. So first I'm just going to erase some of these. That looks okay. And, yeah, it's probably a good idea to just finish the drawings underneath, because the next frame I'm going to be moving stuff around and reusing stuff, so I might as well have something of a drawing here to work with underneath. And of course we'll make sure that looks good either way, like that right there. We want that to look good for both. And that looks fine. I'm just kind of cleaning up extra pixels here. I don't like it when things are super chunky. Some people do. I just try to clean that stuff up. Alright, so yeah, I'm just gonna put that off for a minute and finish this frame of the explosion. We'll see how long this takes before I actually get to work in Unity, which was the plan. But I do have that player mechanic down, so what I'm thinking for this is it'll get hit by the bullet, explode, and two will come, almost like a Hydra. And then it's gonna keep track of how many times it's been birthed, right? And from there it'll stop eventually and get smaller and smaller. So I'm not sure yet if I'm going to use the same sprite, and then it would be pretty easy to do that as a test, but it might not look good enough, so I might need to make the asteroids actually get smaller and smaller in the pixel art, because if you shrink pixel art, it just looks really detailed all of a sudden, and it makes everything else look undetailed. Yeah, I don't know a better way to explain it. It makes it look like, well, why didn't you make the game that way? The whole game that way? Well, it would take forever to make the game that way. That's why the pixels are large. Alright, let's see how that looks in comparison. It's a good start. Almost done here. Or at least with this color. Alright, next color. It's crazy how when we first changed the gray to magenta in the background, it looked very magenta, but now that we're working in color, it looks very gray. I hit a pixel I didn't mean to there. I lost it. Where was it? Well, maybe I'll find it later. Alright. Looks like I'm already at the white. Oops. Alright, yeah, so that's a pretty convincing explosion, I would say. I'm getting kind of quick at it. But of course, if we want 5 frames, it's going to be 5 frames. So I don't know if I want to make a whole bunch of different asteroids if I need to make 5 frames for all of them. Maybe this one will be just enough. That would be great. Alright, so next frame, it's going to look like that. Pretty easy to do. I'm just gonna steal a whole row. Make a new frame. I'm just gonna delete that frame and bring in our fancy row. So first thing I'm going to do now that the row's there is I'm going to move this layer around again. So I'm going to grab my polygon tool, make sure I've got the right layer selected, and Why wouldn't it let me move it? What did I do wrong? Somehow it got locked. Alright, so yeah, I'm just going to move everything first, and then I'm going to make it smaller after I've done that. So first move it, and then I'll probably rotate it a little bit also to make it look like it's exploded. But I want to do everything in order, right? So I'm gonna kind of keep this clockwise motion, or counterclockwise, rather. Make sure I only hit everything once, so that way it's consistent throughout the animation. Did I hit that already? Alright. Yeah, that looks pretty good. This piece. To be further, this one as well. So all of a sudden physics come into play here. Smaller pieces move further. That is there, and then all of a sudden it's there. But the bigger chunks were towards the outside, so they're just there first, right? So what happens is they slow down and the smaller chunks get faster. I don't know if that's actually how physics of explosions work, but that's how they work in my mind because I make pixel art explosions. Alright, so I'm just going to make a whole bunch of these, and they can move. They don't have to be completely circular, but they are going to be mostly circular. When they move, it's a little interesting, but we don't want it to be too interesting. We want it to mostly just be like, wow, that was bright. And we can fix the edges that aren't shown in a second, after we go around the edges that are shown. Oh, you know what? I wanted to do more. I'm just gonna leave that how that was. I want to do more with the top layer first. I got ahead of myself there. I'm gonna get back to this lasso tool. I'm gonna break some of these stuff apart and start disintegrating them a little bit. Because the idea is that another asteroid's gonna spawn during this explosion, and it's gonna try to look like it's coming from the debris, right? Yeah, the idea with this minigame thing is that I want it to be something that someone can easily sit down, play, and when they're on one of the first levels, it's going to be a good time for anybody because they know exactly what to do because they've probably played Asteroids before, or at least could have an idea. So, and the first levels are going to be like impossible to die. It's going to be more exploration than anything. So it's going to be kind of kid-friendly in a way, but still fun. And I want it to be one of those things where it's like, maybe you don't love the main game, but this is something that you can love. And if you like the main game enough and love this, then maybe it'll be enough to enjoy the game. I don't know. It's just one of those consolation prizes, I guess. I don't know. I want to be able to collect stuff outside the main game that helps the main game. So that way, if you're really not good at the main game, then there's another way around the main game. to still enjoy the story and all that without the frustrating mechanics. Because the game can be frustrating, it kind of bases itself on frustration, so it's kind of aware of itself in that respect. I think that's kind of important, but I don't know, we'll see how it turns out. Alright, yeah, so I didn't rotate anything, so I might want to do that this time. But I don't know if it really needs it. I don't think it does. I think it's fine. Alright, so I'm just going to keep going on the explosion here. Oops, too far. Oops. Alright, so I got that whole room. It's kind of quiet there. Totally. Alright. Yeah, so I'm just kind of drawing the edge here. This is all covered by the asteroids, so it doesn't really need to be perfect here. Bam! Alright. I'm just gonna fill that in. And let's see what that looks like. That doesn't look perfect. Alright. Alright, so I'm gonna fix some of this. Alright, so that looks like an explosion. Let's see what that looks like. Alright, got our tiny version. Alright, so after that one we get the real dark ones, real dark lines. So we'll make a new frame. We will delete the old explosion. But you know what? Yeah, we'll delete the old explosion. We'll yeah, we'll move the bits some more. So yeah, I'm just using the Lasso Tool here because it's easy. Mostly easy. Yeah, so like I said, the smaller pieces are going to move faster, but obviously there's only so many frames here. If we put them all close to the edge, it's going to be the shape of a square, which it should not be. It should be the shape of a circle. So we do need to conserve some of this space here and trick people. That's the idea, is we're tricking people. We're animators, we're tricking people. That's the way you gotta look at it sometimes. Yeah, make do with what you got. But that's why I added those extra pixels to begin with, for a little bit more space for the explosion here. Alright, so yeah, I am going to erase some of these tiny leftover bits because they look ugly. And we're going to have to start erasing some of this stuff down and break it apart as well, because there's just too much stuff still. Alright, so yeah, now everything's broken apart. I'm gonna move some of the pieces here so they don't look so erased. Alright, so frame 4. Oh wait, no, we're still on 3, right? Yeah. Oh. Frame 4 for the asteroid, 3 for the explosion. We're making this type of shape there. So get on the right frame, the right color out, and yeah, so I'm making that like flower shape. It's kind of a specific shape. So I'm actually gonna use symmetry to help me out here. I really don't like the way that turned out. Let's try something different. Oh, that looks bad for multiple reasons, but mostly because that's off. Alright, let's try this again here. Alright, I'm gonna turn off symmetry and fuck with it a little bit because it shouldn't be exactly symmetrical. That's a little bit better. Yeah, so now it just uses that same 5 pixels on top of that 6th one, and we just kind of do this. Someone's car alarm's going off outside. It's not what I wanted. Hey, they turned it off. Alright. Fuck. There we go. Like, what the fuck is that? Yo, oh, I could do a lot with that. Get out of here. Alright, I'm tired of doing it that way, I'll just do it the long way. Alright. Next color, we got this fancy orange. I hand selected. Oh, I'm just gonna stole from some other explosion. Seems like a good orange. Yep, just going around in circles here. But it's happening pretty fast, I think. I don't know. Guess I've been doing this for an hour now. I might have to take a break and stretch in a bit. I didn't think about that. Sneaks up on you. And when you get as old as I am, been doing this long enough, starts to pay a toll, you gotta stretch out. Hey, Demoxian, I don't know how I pronounce it. Demoxian, how you doing? Thanks for joining the stream, appreciate it. Hi, Mr. Orange Pixel. I nailed the pronunciation. Tamoxian. Tamoxian it is. Alright. Good to know. Thanks. I'm glad you're doing well. I'm just making this. I started in Unity, but then I was like, well, I need some art, and then I got carried away making this explosion. So, it's gonna be an asteroid. And I'm thinking this mini game that I'm working on is going to turn into a Asteroids clone, basically. Something simple that people can kind of just pick up and know how to play. That way, if the game is too difficult, they'll have something else that's easy to latch onto to help them, like, level up in the story mode. Kind of be able to hit it from all angles. Yeah, I think it's cool too. It's not really, it hasn't really come together yet, but the idea is there, and I've been working on the idea for a little bit, just like on the side, like very experimental. But I think it's gonna go well. I think it's gonna work. Yeah, there's a few different angles I can take it, and a bunch of different ways I can make it interesting. But mostly I just want like a chill, like home vibe for the game, you know, players like to have some kind of just chill spot where they can still feel like they're doing things, but not feel like everything's at stake or like they're being challenged. You know, place where people can feel comfortable at all times. How's the audio mix, Tamoxian? I screwed it up. Tamoxian. Is the audio okay? Am I too loud? Is the music too quiet? Is the music too loud? I don't know. You know, the usual. Everything's sounding okay. The volume could go up a touch. Do you mean overall volume of everything? The volume of my voice? The volume of the background music? How would you like me to increase the volume? I will do it. I just want to make sure I get it right. The voice, okay. Let me see. Now, the real problem with that is that I'm far away from the microphone, and I don't have a good mic stand set up. But what I have been doing, let's see here, in OBS, if I go into the mic settings, we've got our filters. If I throw on compression, I can get it a little louder, but I probably want it to be down the road. Can I make it? Yeah. Oh, here we go. There we go. This might sound weird right away. So I've got the check. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's probably a little loud there. Add a little gain. Now I've actually got the gain on my microphone pretty much cranked, but I want to make sure that I'm not clipping on OBS. So, how about now? does it sound good now? It seems like it's getting a little loud on OBS, and then the desktop audio is quite a bit lower. I have a soft voice. It's 4 in the morning. Also, I have like paper thin walls, but it's mostly because the microphone is so damn far away. If I had a booming microphone, or if I was closer to the mic, then it wouldn't be such a thing. And it sounds good? Okay. Cool. So then we're good. Alright. Thanks for helping, by the way. I really appreciate that. It's so hard to tell what you sound like on the other side. You know. No clipping. Cool. Yeah, as long as I'm not too quiet, I think that's good, because honestly I don't want to be too loud. And yeah, I really do need to get a booming mic, or a booming stand, but what you gonna do? This is what I got right now. Yeah, if I was doing like a YouTube thing or some type of narration, I would be like, or like my podcast, I'd be like right on top of the mic, but in this situation, I'm kind of sitting far away. Usually I'm standing if I'm doing that type of stuff, but I couldn't figure out a way to get the mic closer without it being in the way. Although I'm pretty happy with the mic. It's a Blue Yeti. She's like middle of the road kind of, but does a pretty good job. I mean, granted, it does a better job when you're right on top of it, but you know, that's the way condensers are. Yeah, it's really not a bad brand. I mean, it's not the best, but gets the job done for sure. But yeah, I'm like over a foot away from it. But yeah, you know, when I was in a band, I used to use condenser mics to just mic the entire room, and it'll do it. It's just not a very good recording. You can't really use that for anything other than like, I don't know. If everything's really loud, then it'll work. If you pick up the whole room. Usually I would use a couple different mics though. And then I would throw different mixes on the mics. Kind of mix everything down separately. Yeah, usually I keep the gain real low and get real close to it, but in this situation I've got the gain cranked and that compressor you saw. Alright, I think I can fill in with the white here. Yeah, I'm using this sprite sheet, which I already made, as a guide to help me make this explosion. Which is funny because I used another explosion to make this explosion, so I'm they should mostly look the same at that right then. Oh, wrong one. So it's not bad. Still got a couple frames missing here. I think that might be it for the debris. I think I'll end the debris. Maybe one more with just a little bit. It's a tiny bit on the next one. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll just start erasing some of these outside. Oh, I'm on the wrong layer. There we go. Some of these outside debris, bits of debris, and then I'll move some of the inside ones. Yeah, the debris's been moving and disintegrating this whole time, so it'll look pretty natural to have some of it come off the screen, or come off the sprite. So what I do at that point is I have more sprites that are in the form of particles, and those kind of take the place of these bits. So that way these ones get real close to the edge, and then the ones that left look, or they become the particles. It looks like they're the same thing when really it's not. So it's all about tricking the eye here. Oh, you know, these ones need to be going that way more. Some of those don't move. Alright. Oh, no, there's still a few of them. Thank you, though. I... Just gonna delete some of these. Too many. Alright. That should look a little better. Some of them, they're not moving enough. Like this one here. If I rotate it, it might help. I don't like where this one ended up. But maybe I'll break it apart. Oops. There we go. Alright, that last frame looks terrible because this explosion is not changed, but other than that, I think it'll be fine. So I'm just going to delete the explosion and bring in, or make a drawing that looks just like this, basically. So I basically started with like that same flower shape that I did before, broke apart the insides, and then made this shape on the inside with less colors. So yeah, not too difficult. I want that pixel perfect mode on, and I'm just going to kind of draw that flower shape here. Oh. I'm not too happy with that. I'm gonna start over. Oh, too far. Damn it. Alright, I'm gonna start with the symmetry on, and that'll kind of give me a starting point before, like before. don't like that one. Yeah, and then I can just like erase some of these lines here. I'm gonna get a bigger eraser. Still a little bit symmetrical here, so at this point I can turn the symmetry off and kind of fill in the rest of the shape. So that way it's not symmetrical, but it's not unsymmetrical so much as it's just organic looking, right? Alright, yeah, that looks a little better, but I want those lines, so I'm gonna actually turn on symmetry again and kind of draw these lines a little bit. This might actually be easier on the tablet, but it's a small thing. I don't like that. Yeah, and then I'll just erase some of these. Still looks way too symmetrical. Yeah, so I'm just gonna draw in all of those like circular bits, and then the lines will be somewhat symmetrical. Everything's based on somewhat symmetry here. Oh. Okay. Oh, there's one, and I think that looks okay. I mean, I don't really like that. Like one side is fine, but the other is too much. You know, I don't like the other either. Alright, I think that'll do. I don't want to spend too much time. Oh, that wasn't even the right color. Let's try that again. Alright, yeah, so this one comes in a little bit. I think mostly on the edges. On the inside it's not as much. Right? Kind of. But it's mostly these like crescent shapes. Oh, sometimes I hit the wrong button. Okay. It's a good start. I'll turn pixel perfect mode off for a bit. Sometimes it gets annoying when it doesn't go exactly where you want it to go. It can be really helpful when you're trying to get like organic shapes, but when you just want it to go, sometimes it doesn't go. I keep missing. I'll have to redraw some of these lines. What does pixel perfect do? So yeah, I can explain that. This little checkbox here it's super useful. I don't know why they call it pixel perfect, but it's just a catchphrase. But what it really does is it's like a lazy mouse, right? So let's say, like if I get really close, you can see that as soon as I go across that grid, it changes the pixel, right? And that's the same. But once I click down, it's not the same, right? In pixel perfect mode, you see what it did there? I just did the same, like this is not pixel perfect, and then this is pixel perfect. So it creates an average, right? So it's good for making lines, right? Like let's say you want to draw like a face or something. You know, it's much easier than if you were in pixel perfect mode and you do that, you get these chunks everywhere. But you can still do it, but you end up having to go back in and erase some of these to make it look better. So they developed an algorithm that it's just a lazy mouse algorithm is what it is. It just finds the average and then decides whether or not to draw or not. It's pretty dope. I like it. But yeah, like I said, it's good to know when to use it and when to not use it, because sometimes it can be annoying if you don't realize that it's not a good time to use it. Like erasing, for example. If you're trying to like draw into a picture with it as an eraser, then yeah, you can use the pixel perfect mode. But typically, you don't really need it when you're erasing. You just want it to erase where you're telling it to erase. But yeah, it's fun to have that option. So I definitely appreciate them putting that option in there. Yeah, it's probably one of my favorite features. Maybe not. I mean, there's a lot of really good features in this software. Like the rotate feature, there's a couple different rotation algorithms that are pretty to choose from, and it's dope to have those options, because obviously the one is, you know, just normal, and then the other one it kind of takes a guess on what it should look like, which is, you know, pixels, they don't rotate so well, so it's nice to have a starting point. Basically, you kind of still need to go in and fix it, but it's a great starting point. Oh. Yeah, honestly, I use Aseprite for like a lot more than people would expect. You can actually do, like, I wouldn't say you can do high res stuff, but you can actually do some like tweet res stuff, right? Like you can make 2000 by or 2024 by 1080, which is like, at one point they made films at that size. So I mean, it's still pretty small, but it's the limitations aren't as crazy small as it seems. Where Photoshop, you can get things to be huge. This thing gets kind of clunky when you get things too big, but it can do a lot. One of my other favorite things to do in this software is to just take a GIF from the internet and drag it into the software, and it breaks it down into frames for you, just like this, where you can see each frame individually. And it's great to learn how animations are made, because there's tons of animations online that you can just, like pixel art, or some of them are just direct rips, you know, like the actual pixel art, and that's super cool. Alright, yeah, so I'm going back and forth here to just make sure that I'm doing the same kind of thing. It's definitely like this like flame effect. So I'm actually going to turn pixel perfect mode on to get that edge to be smooth, and then I'll go back in and fill it in without the mode on. I'm gonna use paint bucket here for some of this. Oops. There we go. Doesn't look as alphabetic as the other one, but it's definitely got some type of Rorschach thing going on. The other one actually looks like that level in Star Fox. It kind of looks like a spider. It does look a little bit like a spider. And it'll only be on frame or on screen for a frame, so I'm not too worried about it, as long as it looks organic and like an explosion for that little bit of time. It's easy to stare too deeply into each frame when you're animating it. When you're animating, you gotta have like a head for what it's gonna look like when it's done, right? I have an idea of how things will look when they come together, like while you're constantly working on it. There's always a plan, and then there's always a hope that it's gonna look like how it does in your head, and then in the end, you always just gotta, you know, come to terms with how it ends up, and if it's good or not, and that's up to you. Looking pretty good here. Wise words. Maybe, I don't know. I could just be rambling. I tend to talk a lot about animation when I'm animating. It's like there's this big theory behind it, but it's just watching how things move and then imitating it. I guess it's really more about being observant than anything, and then using the tools you have to try to trick people into believing that what you made is similar to what you observed. I don't know. It's definitely doesn't have to be as drawn out as that. All right. So next frame. This one, I think I might just take this image. I mean, no one's gonna notice. It's real small. Alright, so I'll delete that and just paste it in here. And this one, delete. Oh. There. I think that looks done. Yeah, so there'll be particles that come with it, and then 2 more asteroids that come out of it. So I think that by itself will be enough. And it only took me an hour and 45 minutes to make. Alright, so I should probably save it after all this time. Let's go up one. Make a new... I'm just gonna... Oh, I should probably call it Explore Mini Game. So that way I know what the heck this folder is for. Alright, I'm gonna call it Asteroid as a Aseprite file. We're gonna export it. Not export. We want to export the sprite sheet. So the first thing I'm going to do is come up with a name for it. I just like to add sheet at the end. Just helps me discern. Obviously as a PNG. Next thing I want to do is I want to change the layout here. I like to keep things square. It's a smaller sprite, but you always want to keep things square. So I'm just gonna guess here, and so either 2 or 3. I like that one better. So it's a little bit more square. The reason for that is because everything is looked at as a square by the graphics renderer. So if it's not a square, it makes it a square. So you literally have to add transparent pixels to every sprite that is not a square until it is a square. So making a big long strip, you're actually making a big long, or a bunch of big long columns underneath of empty pixels, and the graphics card has to read all that stuff. I mean, there's nothing on it, but it's still memory. So that's that. Alright, so we've got all of this stuff is good then. I'm going to export. Did that work? Let's pull up our documents here. Got images, Aseprites, RSB. Where did I save the damn animation to? Oh, I made that new folder. That's right. There it is. Alright, yeah, so we've got our sprite sheet. Looks great. We're gonna bring it into Unity now. Oh, okay. You gotta get some sleep. Hey, thanks for joining, Tamaxian. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'll see you around, man. Thanks again. Alright, so I've got my images folder here. I'm just going to check out my sprites inside there. We got all this stuff here. Alright, so I'm going to make a new folder, I think. And we're going to call it Explore Mini Game Sprites. I want to know what it is later, and if I don't give it a good name, I won't know what the hell it is, what's in it. Alright, so I've got my asteroids in here. I need to bring them into Unity correctly here, so change the settings appropriately. And here's our sprite. And we know it's 64 by 64, and so does it, so that makes it easy. Alright, so we've got our asteroid. Now we need to make an asteroid. So, easiest way to do that is to just drag it in as a sprite. We'll do just that. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is give it a better name. I'm going to call it... I'm going to just select everything. Oops, scroll on. Alright, so I'm going to call it... Asteroid Graphics. If I could spell. Asteroid Graphics. So that way I know it's graphics because I'm going to put other stuff on it. But first I want to make sure it's like the right size. I think it's tiny. Usually everything's tiny. I think I made everything big when I started. So yeah, for some reason everything is 170 times bigger than it should be, but that's like the whole game, so I think that looks great in space like that. Like the dark looks really dark, and then the light looks light. I think it looks great. Alright, yeah. So what we want to do is we want to give it like a random rotation and like a trajectory that's like not at the space station, but not away from this. It's gonna be like a fudged trajectory. So yeah, the first thing I'll do is I'll make a parent, and we'll call this Asteroid. I like to put all the logic on the parent, especially like transform and stuff like that. It's just easier to do it directly to the game object. You don't have to, you can totally just reference the game object, but that's the way I like to do it. So I'm going to add a script. Let's jump to my scripts folder, and I don't know, should it go on space station? Probably not. I'm going to make a new folder. Oh, I put it inside the space station folder. That's not where I wanted it. We'll call it Explore Mini Game Script. Okay, here we're gonna add a C#, and we're gonna call it Asteroid. Yeah, we'll just start with Asteroid. We might break things apart later, and I'm not really sure yet. Like, I kind of like going on the fly sometimes. Alright, so like I said, the first thing we want to think about is rotation. So there's two ways we can do that. We can do that using the transform, or we can use that using the physics. I don't know why that took so long for me to think of. But yeah, we can either change the torque or we can change the rotation. It's probably easier just to change the rotation. It's not going to be terribly physical. I mean, the rest of the game is physics based, so I don't think this really needs it. So I'm just going to go with the rotation. So the easiest way to do that is do a quick Unity search. I probably have a script that already does it, but I don't want to dig through a whole bunch of code. I'm just going to say Unity rotate transform. Alright. Now, for me, if I like to type in answers afterwards, and so if you spell it right, that helps too. So Unity answers, if you don't know, is a great place to find answers. Basically, you can just scroll down to the green one, and it usually has the answer you need. So here they've created a vector 3 amount to rotate and turn. So that makes it turn that much every frame. Yeah, so what we'll do is we'll just take this thing, because they've kind of convoluted what we need, and we'll just simplify that, and we'll just put it in the update. Alright, so here's this amount to rotate and turn. What a weird variable name. So let's not use that. We'll just call it rot. So here we'll make a public. I think it has to be, what is it, vector 3? What are we working with? Yeah, vector 3. That's weird. Why is it green? Is it green? Or is it yellow? What does it say? Vector 3.0. We'll call it rot equals vector 3.0. Alright, so that should take care of that. But we do need to figure out what it's going to... we do need to figure out the rotation. So... yeah, I'm really not sure. Wait, there's this turn Y. Alright, yeah, so Y is going to be the rotation. Transform rotate. Alright, so if it's at 1, then it'll be rotating. If it's at -1, then it goes the other way. That's how that works. So on enable, we want it to figure out what direction it's spinning. So we're just going to say rot equals random range want negative. Can we do negative? By what? Does it not do negative? Did I do that wrong? I think I would know this by now. Did I forget a parenthesis? What am I doing wrong here? Oh. There we go. Let's see if I can do -1. I can. Alright, so now it should decide whether it's spinning or not, or which direction it's spinning. Uh-oh. Come on, Unity. Alright. We've got our asteroid. Let's throw the asteroid script on it. This is public, so we can see it. And it's on the wrong axis. Look at that. We want the Z, not the Y. But it's rotating. And what we'll do is we'll divide it by 10. And that should make it slower. What? 7? Why did I write 7? The 7 and Z, they're like the same thing. It didn't rotate. Well, I guess we can't divide it by 10. Yeah. So it's doing some, oh, it's yeah. So what I've done is I've created a parent that's not aligned. So I'm going to focus on the asteroid graphics, and then I'm going to click on this guy and Control Alt F, and then I'm going to drag it back on. And now it should work. Alright, yeah, so it's rotating. That way it was rotating, that time it was rotating clockwise. Let's see what happens this time. Now it's not rotating. Let's try again. Not rotating. Alright, so it shouldn't be at 0. Alright, so I'm throwing that in there, calling that from there, and that in there, and then that's there. So it should loop forever until it's not at 0. Which may or may not work, we'll just have to see. Let's see. Seemed to work that time. We're going clockwise. Clockwise. It's only going clockwise, even when it's negative. Oh, it's only negative? Oh, I see why. It's gotta be a 2. Whoops. Because it's inclusive? Exclusive? Exclusive? First number is inclusive, second number is exclusive. That always confused me. Oops, clicked too many times. Alright, looks like it's rotating in either direction. Maybe divide by 2. Still feel like it's moving too fast. That's weird. Alright, well. I don't think random range works with floats. Thinking of a way to make a random range integer into a float and add it to the end of a float as a decimal. But it's just a lot of brain fart stuff that's going on there. I'm just going to leave it as it is and just have it rotate either direction, which is fine for now. And the next thing I wanted to do is to make more. So I'm going to create a collider. So we'll just make a 3D capsule is what we'll do. We'll make a capsule. So we don't actually want that capsule, so we'll delete the whole. So if we change the axis on the collider to be Z, it doesn't change the mesh, and there's no way to change the mesh from here, which I thought was kind of interesting. But we're not using the mesh, so we can actually just remove the mesh components. All we want is the collider, and it's going to be a trigger, and we also want it to be pretty big. So we're going to change the radius here, and then we're going to change the heights by like a lot, something like 300. So that way when we look at like an angle, we know our bullets are going to hit it, even if they're not at the same depth. Alright, so we've got the collider. I'm going to rename it to Trigger, and it's set as a trigger. So the next thing we need is a script for it. We'll call it Asteroid Trigger. Alright, so we've got our Asteroid Trigger loading here. We're going to find a on trigger enter script somewhere. We're just gonna steal that. I like to put my on trigger stuff between start and update. Alright, so that one says other pinball. That's not what we need. We want shot 1 is the tag we're going to be looking for. And tags are kind of hackish. I don't really recommend using them, but since I already started using them, I might as well just keep using them. Next game, I'm going to significantly cut down the number of tags I use. So I recommend if you're using tags, start cutting them down, because there is ways around it. And I would be doing that, except I've already made a tag for shot. And honestly, if you're going to use a tag, shot might be a decent tag name. Of course, if you've got 4 different bullets and they're different for the AI, then all of a sudden you've got a whole bunch of tags being used for bullets. So be careful with your tags. Okay, so I've got my shot on trigger enter. We wanted to bust apart and make a new one, right? So we're going to need some things here. We're going to need a generator that generates the first asteroid. From that, so that generator is going to make asteroids all the time in a circle. Asteroids are they're gonna know where the center of the space station's at, and they're gonna launch themselves vaguely towards it. And yeah, they're gonna rotate. When you hit them, they will bear children. So there's a few different levels of logic here. And this one is going to be talking to both of them. So I'm going to need to make the generator also. I know we're kind of jumping around here. That's okay. Alright, so I'm going to start by jumping there, and we're just going to make a 3D object. It's going to be a sphere, just for simplicity's sake. It's right in the middle of everything, and that's perfect. I am going to disappear it though, because we don't need it to actually be a sphere, we just need it to be a point in space. Alright, so we're gonna call this we'll call it, Asteroid Gen Center. Alright, yeah. So we'll have a different rotate script for that. The Asteroid Gen rot. So that's going to be pretty simple. It's going to be nearly identical to the other one, but a little bit easier to control from outside. Alright, so there's that. Yeah, so we'll just throw that on there. This one has even less logic than before. It's literally just telling it to spin every frame. And then we'll just dial it in the inspector. We'll say 5. I don't know how fast that'll do. Alright, so the next step, we're actually going to add another game object here. And it really doesn't matter what it is, but we'll just make it a cube. And we want to see it, so I'm going to make it big like everything else. I mean, that's pretty big, so maybe not as big. I don't know. That looks much better. That's what I was expecting. Alright, so if we pull it up here, and then we throw our Asteroid Generator, and we give it a 5. Where did I throw the other one? Oh, it's got 2. Alright, so it should rotate the cube, is what should happen here. Nope, that's not what I wanted to happen. Alright, so I think that's because of the way that script was written. Yeah, so we want space to be world. We don't want it to be world. We want it to be self, not local. Well, I think that should help. I don't know. It's on the asteroid, not on the cube. Huh. Oh, I see what's happening. It's moved the transform center. See? It's weird that it moved the center. But now it's rotating. So that's what I was trying to do before. Actually looks kind of cool. Moving quite fast. We don't need it to be that fast. Maybe a little bit faster than that. Alright, a little bit faster. This is exactly as fast as we need it for now. So it's going to generate, well, first we're going to zoom it out. I just wanted us to be able to see what it was, but it's going to be way further out, like here. And then it's going to be a generator. This doesn't actually need to be a cube. It doesn't need to exist at all. But it's a spot where things are going to come from. So in the build manager, I've got something that I call a object pooler. Alright, yeah, so I can just add another element here. Which I have not made yet. So that's going to be our asteroid. I'm going to make a new folder. Call it Explore Mini Game Prefabs. We're going to throw our asteroid in there right away. We'll just make updates to it later. But that way we can put it into our thingerdoodle here. And should be near the top here. We've got our asteroid. There it is. Yeah, so it's gonna store 10. It's gonna store 10 and expand. So the next thing we need to do is to actually make the generator pull things out. So the easiest way to do that is to refer to my shoot script, which already does that. And here it is. No, that's not it. Here it is. So I'm just going to copy this bit here. I'm going to hit up the generator. Oh, we're going to need a script for the generator. Alright, Asteroid Generator. Okay, so here, we'll make a function. It'll be public, so we can call it from other scripts. Whoops, too soon. We're gonna call it generate asteroid. Alright. And this one, we need it to be the name of the asteroid. And I believe it also has to be tagged, which is... maybe not. I think it just has to be the same name. I don't know. So what we'll do is we'll make a boolean, and this is for testing. We'll just call it generate. And then here we'll say if generate is true, then we will generate. Oops. Pretty straightforward there. And we'll also say generate equals false, so that way it doesn't make a whole bunch on top of each other. Alright, let's see what this does. We got our generator, we got our script. Okay, should work. I don't know if it's working though. I don't think it is. Oh. Also, I think I need more from the script. I think I just grabbed this part of it. So I think there's more. Well, this part's important. Other things will have to go in there later once we know more about the asteroids, but right now, all we know is that they should exist and rotate. Object not set. Let's see, that would be the one thing. That would be the other. What does it say? Object not set. Object pooler shared instance. So I think it needs to be tagged that. I'm not sure, but I think I had this issue before. So I'm going to tag the asteroid as asteroid, which is annoying because there's way too many tags here. Way too many tags. Which is why I say be careful with your tags. I don't even know that this is going to fix the problem. Whoops. Alright. Got a generator flying around in circles. Still no reference. What am I missing? Not sure what I did wrong here. Oh, I think I know. I made the tag, but I didn't tag it. Asteroid, and now I need to apply it. I think it might work now. Because I think I had this issue before, and I was like, why won't it work? And then I made a tag as a last ditch effort, and it worked, and I was like, oh my god, kill me now. Well, it's not throwing errors. I'm not seeing things either. Let's take a look at... No, the generator's not like in any crazy point in space or anything. Game object, asteroid. Set object true. Is it even pulling it? should be. Alright, so they are pulled. Uh-huh. And they do exist. But they're all in the same location. Aha! So yeah, I need a transform. Actually, I don't even need that. I can just say asteroid dot transform equals game object dot transform. Dot position dot position. There we go. And that should fix our stacked asteroid problem. Alright, we got asteroids. Cool. So we've got asteroids in a circle. We can click a button to make them. It's really hard to get them to not be on top of each other though. So there might be an issue with... Oh, it's still at 5. It doesn't need to be at 5. It needs to be at 3. We decided that. Alright. Let's see what it does now. This is much easier. Oh, I'm not even clicking on the right damn thing. Right. Awesome. So we've got asteroids. They kind of appear on screen, so we'll pull this out now that we know where they're going. So they rotate from here, but we don't actually want them to. We want them to rotate on the graphics. So we're going to copy the component, remove the component, paste it onto the graphics. We'll say apply. We'll apply that. Alright, so there shouldn't be any noticeable difference, but now if we move the transform of the parent, we're not going to get it moving in rotations. So yeah. Now we can move it like that. Ah, so there's an issue right there. We need it to be in front of the space station. That's easy to fix. Cool. I'm going to make the trigger bigger. Alright, so now we need to make asteroids figure out where they're going when they wake up. So find rotation, but we also want it to find direction. Alright. I'm trying to think of the best way to do this. So we can give it an exact direction and just say go there, but then they're all going to be coming at the exact center. Where we need it to just be like a slight variation from that. So one way to do that would have a rotating point in the middle, and then it's just they're targeting this exact point, but it's in rotation, so it's never the same. That's actually not a bad idea. That way I don't have to come up with like math reasons why things would move. I could just target another point that's spinning. Yeah, so we've got our Asteroid Gen Center. I'm just gonna make another one of these and name it Target Spin Center. And we'll call this Asteroid Target. Alright, so yeah, it's spinning, but we want it to spin much, much closer. Yeah, so if we hit play, we can watch the arrows move. Obviously it's invisible. But yeah, the asteroids are going to be aimed at that. But only for an instant, not while it moves. So what we want it to do is to store that location. So we need a public transform we'll call it Asteroid Target so it's not confusing. Alright, so Asteroid Target, we're actually going to find a game object to find it, so we'll do public game object Asteroid Target Geo. So we'll call this one trans, just to keep things like that. So we'll say this equals find I don't remember. I just did this yesterday. What script was it? I don't know. It's not looking through my code. Game manager does it. What am I doing here? Alright, right here, yeah. Just like this. Game object dot find, and then you put the name. I was not close. Alright, and we're gonna need the exact name, so I'm gonna pull it from this guy. Alright. So we actually don't need this, because we can get the transform from it. Oh wait, no, I think we still need that. Or no, do we? I don't... Yeah, because that's going to be constantly changing. Okay. So we're going to say that equals that, or that, yeah. Asteroid target trans equals asteroid target trans, or target geo dot transform. Alright, so now we need to make it move towards the target, so that's going to happen in the update. So yeah, this should also be at like a times time dot delta time. We need to translate one now. What's translates? We use shoot script. Where's that one? Shoot control? No, it's like a bullet script. Shot one script. Shot one. down at the update. I usually put the updates at the bottom. Usually, not always. There's scale, transform, translate. This is what we want. Alright, we've got transform, translate. We're gonna need a speed. We want the speed to change, so we're gonna give it a current speed, and then we'll give it a oh, that's not right. How about float? Current speed, float, and we'll just call it speed. So what we want to use is current speed for this, but we want to come up with a speed. Oh, yeah, okay. And we also... Do we want that? We do... I forget how to look at... But it's easy to do. Unity look at. Transform.look at. That's easy. Yeah, so we'll look at this. And it should do it on enable and then be good. And then it should be moving the right direction. That's up. Yeah, so the Z should be rotated. So we still need to come up with the speed. So we'll take what if we did a random range times the speed, and that way we could increase the speed and things would get faster, but maybe that'd be too fast. But we could multiply it by a decimal. That would be confusing, because I don't know math. We'll just start with a random range. We'll say current speed, and we'll say min speed and max speed. How about that? So this should actually work. It might not be the most polished, but it should work. Alright, so it needs the asteroid target, which it should find on its own. So it should be good. Oh, that one's not gonna work. Oh, there's already a problem. It's looking at so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna throw a rigid body on it. And I'm gonna freeze the rotation. And that, yeah, so I'll freeze some of the constraints there. And that should prevent it from looking all funny like that. Or not. But it's got a random speed, so that's cool. Of course, it's not moving at the target either. Oh, I see what's going on. I just moved the script from the graphics to the parent, so we'll see what happens now. So as you can see, everything's janky. And it's moving in some random direction with gravity. Okay, so I need to turn off gravity. We're gonna use is kinematic here as well. Also remove the drags. Okay. So this look at script is screwing it up, is what it is. I feel like the answer is this left thing. We'll see what happens when I put that in there. It's probably a different direction, but we'll see. I guess I could just try different directions, but I don't think we're gonna get anywhere this way. Maybe, I don't know. At this point, I don't know. Yeah, so that didn't help. Alright, so maybe we don't need to look at. Just going to get rid of that for now. What was that speed thing like? We need to make that, we'll say 1 and 1, no, 10. So that way there's, what, 9 levels of speed then? It's still rotating it, that's crazy. Oh, I didn't save it. Okay, so we've got a direction. It's not exactly where we thought it was going to go. Let's see where it thinks it's going. It's weird. Move towards, of course. Alright. Oh. So it's updating that position. And I just wanted to hold on to it. So what we need to do is, instead of making a transform, we want a vector 3. And we'll just call it a POS instead. Because the position is a vector 3. So then we'll change this to that, and then we'll say this to position. And say this to be that. And this should work. This way it doesn't go in circles when it hits the middle. Oh, and it just stopped instead, which is interesting. Maybe I need to use impulse, since there's a rigid body on it. Alright, third try to charm. What do we got here? We need a rigid body. We'll use current speed. Oh shit. It's gotta be a force. How do you make a force? Oh, it's a vector too. I don't know. I don't know how to get that number. I guess we just use this. I feel like it's gonna go in a random direction because of that. Maybe if we make the z equals 0, but still it'll just be like picking a direction, right? Oh, I need to assign the rigid body. Well, let's see what it does. It's rotating, but very, very slowly. It is not, however, moving at all. Oh, this impulse thing, it should not be in the update. It should be at on enable. I swear I've used impulse before. Constant force opponent, huh? Component? Never played with that before. Interesting. I think if I just do this and then, well, how do I make it keep going? I guess just use this afterwards, right? So if not at target. So if it's not at the target, we're gonna do this. And then if it is at the target, we're gonna do this. Alright, so now we need a well, it's on the thing. I'm probably gonna end up putting the rotate function in a different script. So here we're going to take our, where's the other one? This one? No? Didn't we have one we were gonna do? A trigger? Trigger? Asteroid Trigger? I'm just gonna steal this. And we'll throw it here. Here we'll call it I actually don't want to use tag here. If other I have this other script where I do this. What do I do? It's called like gravity or something. Pinball gravity pole. This is what I want. Alright, so here we're going to need a script. Just like this. But we don't want this script, we want the... Is there even a script on it? We'll make it a non-generator. We'll just call it target instead. Alright, so... that way, just in case we're not making any enemies there. But if it is target, then it'll just contain the script, and that's good enough. Alright, so which one was it? Generator? And we're just gonna make that a target. Yeah, so if we hit Ast Generator, and oops. There we go. Oops. Copy. Put that there and there. If... what is it? Target script. Target. At target equals true. But that means we need to make a trigger here, and that should work. We want it to be wide enough. It seems like it worked. Oh, no it didn't, it just stuck there. It doesn't think it's at its target. It doesn't have a trigger. Wait, what do I mean it doesn't have a trigger? Oh, the trigger's there. Okay, what's happening now? Where'd it go? Same thing? It should be realizing that it's at its target. but then it just kind of drifts off randomly, doesn't it? Where it's supposed to, oh. Yeah. Well, that's just gonna put it up. Well, I don't think I'm getting anywhere tonight. I think I might need to take a break on this. It was fun while it lasted, but yeah, time to take a break. I thought I'd get further tonight, I really did. Yeah, we'll just have to see what I can do after the break, but I'm gonna take a break. Thanks everyone for watching. Yeah, just take it easy. Peace.